Hey guys, and welcome to the Pathfinder lesson. Today we'll go through week number 2. Our assignment is to make a compass, and we're going to go through the Pathfinder tool to make sure you have all the knowledge, or at least the basic knowledge, to make a cool compass. So you either have the instructions on this video or you have it in written form on Canvas, so you can either follow the video or just read the instructions. I'll be having the instructions right next to me, so we're going to go through step by step. So it's going to be the same information in both. So as you can see, I've already opened my Illustrator file, and if you have yet not done that, you go to File and then New. I just chose a letter size document. There's no sizing on this assignment, so a letter size is totally fine. We're going to start off by setting up our settings in the document. So we're going to make sure that we have our rulers. The rulers you can find under View. Scroll down to Rulers and then Show Rulers. The rules are really great in Illustrator because you can just click here and drag down and then let go, and then you have a straight line, or if you want to find the center, you can just drag and then place it in the center. It's really good to work with if you want something in the center, if you want to make a straight line or something like that. So I'm going to take these away, and I'm clicking on Command Z, which is back. You can see any shortcuts I do in the window as well. So Command Z is undo. We also need to change some preferences. So we go up to Illustrator, down to Preferences, and then Units. We're going to make sure that General is put to inches, and then we go down to Smart Guides. We're going to make sure all of these are checked. So I've already done this assignment before when I took the class, but if this is your first time opening Illustrator, you just have to go in and make sure that all of these are checked. If you ever check something here and then you click OK, it's saved. So next time you open Illustrator, it will be the same settings as before. Make sure that this is set to 90-degree angles. This is snapping tolerance to 5 points. You can have whatever color you want here. I like pink, so I'm just going to go with pink. Click OK. We're also going to pull up swatches and colors. You'll find those under Window. You'll find a lot of different things right here, but right now we only need colors and swatches. You see that we always chose these because they have a little check mark here. And I like to keep them off the artboard. You can just click on here and then drag. And then whenever you see like a little blue stroke around the box, then you can just let it go. There we go. And now we have plenty of space to move around and stuff like that. We're also going to turn on Smart Guides, sorry. You go to View, and then you scroll down to Smart Guides. There we go. And then let's get started. Okay, so the first part says, create the basic shapes for a compass. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to draw a proportionally perfect circle. So you hold down on the little square, and then you can see that we're going to use the ellipse tool. So the ellipse tool is just an ellipse, and if you want to make a perfect circle, you do have to hold down Shift. So you hold down Shift, and then you drag. So you keep holding down Shift, because if you let Shift go, it will just be ellipse. We want a perfect one. So you hold down Shift. We're going to make it 4 inches. You can see the measurements in the little gray box. And then you let go of the mouse, and then let go of Shift. So automatically this one fills, but you can fill it with whatever color you want. If you want to change the color, you go down over here. This is your fill, and this is stroke. So you want to change the fill, you double click on the fill, and then you just choose a little yellow one. There we go. So sometimes it's automatically fills the stroke with black. We don't want any stroke on this one right now. So to take away the stroke, you just click on None right here. In case it's filled for you. So we're going to move the circle into the middle. So you click V, which is your selection tool, which makes it easier for you to click on something and just move it around. As you can see. Place that one kind of in the middle. And there we go. And there we have our perfect circle. The next step is we're going to draw a star. The star tool is underneath the ellipse tool, so you hold it down, and then you see this little menu pop up, and then we scroll down to star. We're going to zoom in a little bit. You can zoom in by clicking Command and then plus and minus, which is, yeah, you zoom in, you zoom out. If you hold down space bar, there's a little hand popping up, and you can move around the screen without moving anything on the screen. So it's good to know. Okay, so we have the star tool, and we're gonna press in the middle of the circle, where you can see the little name center popping up. Like over here, there's nothing popping up, but if you hover kind of in the middle, there we go, center, click there. Just once, that's perfectly enough. And then we're gonna put in 2 inches in the radius 1 box and 0.5 inches in the radius 2 box. And we're gonna have 4 points, which is the 4 sides, or like the 4 pointing sides of the star. And click OK. And then it places right in the center of the circle. If you double click the fill, because we don't want to have the same color, we don't want to have the star as the same color as the circle. So we can just change it to another fill. Like another fill, we can choose red. And there we go. And then if you click V, which is a shortcut to the selection tool, there we go. So we deselect that. If you click once on the circle, you can see that a box around it pops up. That means that the circle is selected. And yeah, so if something has a box around it, that means that that is selected. So we deselect by just clicking somewhere on the screen. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Distribute small triangles around the circle. So we're gonna make sure that the star is deselected, which we see no square around anything. If you would have a square around the circle, you also see, around the star, you also see that the star has some kind of glowing stroke around it. We do not want that. So we deselect. We can also go to outlines. We can show the outline of the shapes you have created on your document. If you have a lot of different layers and a lot of different objects on the site with a lot of different colors on the artboard, I mean, it can be easy to switch between preview and outline to see what you're doing and what you're doing. So for this step of the assignment, we're going to use by just using the outline view. Okay, so we are going to hold down our Option key. Okay, first we're going to select the polygon tool, which is underneath the star tool. It's all these shapes you can choose between. We're going to choose the polygon tool, and we're going to hold down Alt, and we're going to click on top of the circle as close as possible to the top. You can see that when we hover over the circle, it kind of turns a little bit blue, which is what we want, because then we know that we're on the path of the circle. So hold down and click once, and then we get this little box up, and we're going to put it, the radius is 0.125 and the sides are 3, because we're making it triangles, right? So you click OK, and there is our little triangle. And this makes, because if the circle wouldn't have shown blue, then the triangles would have not been on the path of the circle. So we want to make sure that the circle shows some kind of color or something like that before we click on it. And remember to hold in Option, because otherwise it's not going to be on the path of the circle. And then we can click OK. We're going to go to the rotation tool, which is a little arrow over here. You can see that every tool over here has like a little letter right next to it. So if you just click R on your keyboard, it will automatically choose the rotation tool. Yeah, shortcuts is very useful for some of this stuff. I always use a shortcut V for selection tool or T for typing and stuff like that. But if you're still new with Illustrator, that's something you can learn later. It's just, it makes it a little faster to move around and stuff like that. Okay, and now we're going to take the rotation tool. So we click once on the rotation tool, and we're going to click in the middle, in the center of the circle. And we're going to hold down Alt, I think. Let me read. Yes, we're going to hold down Alt and click in the center once, and then this little box pops up. So we're going to enter 11.25 in the angle box right here. And we're going to click Copy. If you click OK, that's totally fine, but you can just go back and redo it again, because we want to make a circle with triangles around the whole thing. So just click Copy. And then we're going to do this again. So a shortcut to do something, again, is Command D, or you can go to Object, Transform, Transform again. But that takes a little time going up here all the time, so Command D is what we're going to use. Command D until you fill it all up. There we go. And then we're done. Okay, so we are gonna go check it out how it looks like in the preview. So click View and then Preview, and then there we go. So if you want the triangles the same color as the circle, you just mark everything by clicking once up here and dragging. So then we have everything marked. If you want to deselect something, because now we have the star selected as well, you hold down Shift and click down once on the star. So now everything that's selected is the triangles and the yellow circle. So there's a question mark right here because there's two different colors. So you want to make this one color, so we just choose yellow again, and there we go. Makes a little spacey compass right here. And that's that step. Okay, so we're going to check out Pathfinder. Your Pathfinder you'll find under Window. You'll scroll down to Pathfinder. And then that one pops up. We can drag that one over here as well. Okay, so we're going to select all the little 3 triangles, all the 31 little triangles, and group them. So we're going to select everything by dragging over it. Hold down Shift by deselecting the star and deselecting the circle. So now everything we have selected is just the triangles. See that everything that's selected has this kind of blue glow on the stroke. So we're going to right click, we're going to group them, and now they're all in one group. So if you drag one, all of them will follow. Which makes the grouping tool is really nice to use if you have a lot of small parts and a lot of small parts on an artboard. You want to make sure everything is organized and stuff like that. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to unite the small triangles and the circles. So you hold down Shift and select, because we already have the triangles selected, so we can select the circle as well. So you just hold down Shift and click on the circle. So now the triangles and the circle is selected, but not the stars. That's why we want to keep it. So we want to unite the small triangles and the circle into one, so it's one enormous shape. We do that by going to the Pathfinder and then clicking Unite. So now this is all one shape. So you saw that the small little lines down here disappeared. So the triangles is a part of the circle right now. So our little star popped up in the back, and that's totally fine. So you right click, arrange, send back, and there we go. Our next step is divide shapes with Pathfinder. So we're going to go through the first option, which is, according to me, is the easiest one. So, but you can use the other one too, but I'm just more comfortable with the first one. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to select the 4-pointed star. Make sure you're on the black selection tool, the black arrow. Click once. We're going to drag our rulers. By dragging a ruler, you click once and you hold it in and you drag it down. I'm going to drag it down to the middle of the star, and then like ish in the middle of the star, as good as you can. And then we let go. And then we're going to drag one over here, and we're going to drag it ish in the middle, and there we go. Okay, so now we're going to make sure that our first we're going to make sure our guides, our rulers are not locked. So we go to rulers, we go guides. Guides. So I don't think they are locked right now, but let's try it. Yeah, they're not locked right now, but if there would be a check mark right here, or if it says that we want to make sure that they're unlocked. So we'll make sure that they're unlocked, because otherwise we can't cut them, because we're going to cut these guides in half. We're going to cut them right here, right here, and right here, and right here. And you do by marking everything. So you select everything. You deselect the orange circle in the back by holding down Shift and clicking once. So you see that right now these are selected because they're all in the same kind of blue color. And then we go to, let's go down a little bit on the instructions. We click on, go into the Pathfinder. We're going to find the divide button right here. Click once, and then you see that the ends of the guys disappeared. So this means that we have divided the star into 4 pieces. If you click right click, you can click ungroup. And these 4 pieces are now movable, and you can change the color. You can change it to blue. You want to have half of them blue or something like that. Boom. And there we go. So to make a compass, we should we should duplicate this star. So it was easy before because we all had a group. Like now, now everything is split. So we're gonna mark everything again. Deselect the circle by holding down Shift, clicking once on the yellow circle in the back, and now everything is selected. So we are going to click the rotation tool. We're going to double click the rotation tool. So double click it, and then we're going to put in 45, I think it is. Yeah, 45 degrees. We're going to click copy, because if we just click OK, it's just going to change the angle of the current star. We want to make 2 of them. So copy. And there we go. If you want to put one of these in the background, you gotta click one. You gotta just mark all of them. So hold down Shift, click on all the sides. If you want to put this star in the back, so you can arrange to the back. Oh, not that far back. We just want to do backward, which is 1 step. If you want to arrange it back, it turns it all to the back. And there we go. It's our little compass. You can change these colors to whatever you want. Just make something creative. Okay, so this is it for me on this part of the assignment. We don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to delete it, but you should save it so you can use it to turn in your assignment. But I don't need it anymore. Okay, so we're going to go forward to create 2 shapes to use Pathfinder. Create 2 more shapes to use with Pathfinder. There we go. We're going to remove shapes to create a new object. Okay, so we're going to draw a 4-inch circle again. We go to ellipse tool, hold down Shift to make it 4 inches, perfectly 4 inches. Drag it to about 4 inches. There we go. Click V to get your selection tool up there, and then we're going to move it to the middle. Deselect it by clicking anywhere off the screen. We're going to draw some circles around this other circle. We're going to go to the ellipse tool, which is right there. We're going to hold down Alt. We're going to hold down Alt in the middle, I think it is. No, we're going to hold at the top of the circle. So hold down Alt and then click at the top of the circle. There we go. And we're going to make these, I think it is 0.5. There we go, 0.5, and then we click OK. So having these both blue can make it a little more confusing, so I'm just going to change it to red or something, just so we can see what we're doing. There we go, and then we're going to go to the rotation tool, because we want these circles to be all following all the way around. So we're going to hold down Alt and find the center of the bigger circle. Click once, and then here we're going to put in 15. We're going to click copy, and then we're going to click Command D, which is do it again. So we're just going to do it again. I think it's 22 times. There we go. If you don't want to use Command D, you can also use Object, Transform again. But here you see that it's the same thing as Command D. We're going to deselect that one, so click V, and then anywhere. Oh, did not mean to do that. Okay, click that one, and there we go. Deselect. And then we have our little circles around the big circle. Okay, so we're gonna mark everything here. And then we're gonna shift click in the blue circle. We're gonna group these. So you right click and then group. So now all these small circles are grouped together as one. Doesn't mean that they're all the same object, they're just grouped together. Okay, so now when we have this grouped, we're going to select all of this again. So we have the small red circles and the big blue circle selected. And then we're going to click on the subtract button in the Pathfinder panel, and that's the second button on the top. So this one. Boom. So now all the red circles disappeared and they are kind of like cutouts in the big blue circle. And there we go, as easy as that. And you can use this for whatever you want. You don't have to have circles. You can put triangles around here and then do the same thing and then just click this one, the minus front button on Pathfinder, and then they will cut off the triangles too. So it's all your preference. Or if you want to use, I don't know, star or something like that. Okay, so the next part of the assignment says blend colors with the soft mix command. Okay, so we're going to drag this one a little bit to the side because we're going to put a rectangle right here. So we're going to go to the ellipse tool, go to rectangle, and now we don't want a perfect square, we want just a rectangle, so it doesn't really matter if we hold down shift or not. So you click once and drag it, make a big rectangle so we can see. And we want to have it in different color, of course, because we're going to blend two colors. We can make it pink, just why not? And then we want to put the rectangle in the background of in the back of the circle. So you right click, arrange, and back. There we go. I'm going to move on the screen a little bit so we can see. And then we are going to group these first. So we drag and select both of them. You can either drag and select, or you can just click once on the rectangle and hold down shift and click on the circle. There's a few different ways you can do to select some stuff. I usually just use drag unless I have multiple things around it. We're going to make this a group. So I group those, and then I make sure that I was supposed to group those and back. Yeah, we group them together, and then we're going to go to Effect, Pathfinder, which is right here, and then Soft Mix. If you have this preview button checked, I always, whenever I can, like whenever it pops up, I always check it just because then I can see what I'm doing. We want to have, I think it's 50 on this one, but you can use whatever you want. And just because you have this preview, you can see what you're doing, okay? Click OK, and then we have blended these two colors together. And that's it. Okay, so we went through the whole Pathfinder lesson. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to your TA. And then I'm looking forward to see what you guys come up with. Okay.